Hailey, congratulations on the victory and the contract. When you're sitting there and Dana's talking about you and he's sort of umming and ahhing, what's the feelings like internally at that moment?
That was worse. That's a more nerve-wracking feeling than you feel when you're stepping into the cage. And then he started it off with, that wasn't the most exciting barn burner fight that you want to see on Contenders. And I was like, oh, great. I did fight a really good girl, He didn't sound like he gave me a scrub that I could walk out there and just be reckless with. So, yeah, and I said in my interview after the fight, I really believe that both of us belong in the UFC, and I think that we put on a UFC-level performance tonight, both of us. So I'm happy with how it went, and I'm happy with my performance.
Conversely, right, so he starts off umming and ahhing, but then he eventually turns around and goes, get over here. How elated are you at that moment?
It's like everything builds up, and then it just releases. So I had a feeling, when good things are about to happen to you, I feel like sometimes you just kind of know. And so as nervous as I was, I did have a deep, deep feeling that, my life was about to change. So as excited as I wasn't super surprised that he ended up, flipping the little attitude that he gave us at the beginning. So
It's an interesting one, right? He wasn't like overly complimentary of the fight, but he did turn around and say, there's something about this girl. She's got a bit of a nit factor. I can't put my finger on it. That in turn is actually probably a better compliment than one of the fight from Dana.
Yeah, I know what it means, but I also don't know what that means. But I'm thankful for it. I'll take the it factor. Yeah, they don't like the clinch, and I love the clinch, and I do a lot of damage in the clinch. So even this fight, I wasn't able to do, to hang out in the clinch for very long because I was worried about impressing him, and I didn't want him to consider that boring. But I've never even been warned in the clinch to get to work. I'm always very, very active. So I probably would have been able to get a finish if I would have, gotten to that clinch more and did the damage I did in round one. But I was very, very worried that he was not going to like that. So
is that like an extra thing, an extra layer to fighting that you probably never had to deal with before, where it's like, well, I need to fight and I need to win, but I also need to fight and win in a very certain way for this one guy?
Yeah, not one time in my career so far has a ref come in to give me, the pre-fight, the rules and said, and by the way, you better be exciting. Like that's never happened. It's just like, oh, okay, thank you. I'll try.
Well, on that note, welcome to the UFC. Last question from me. How important and exciting is it for you to know that the next time you fight, it will be in the UFC with those gloves on?
I hadn't even thought about that yet. That's pretty exciting. I need to let that soak in for a second. Yeah, I'm excited. I keep telling everybody this isn't the pinnacle for me. I do feel like my ceiling is high, and this is just the beginning. So I'm really excited to test myself and see what I'm capable of.
Congrats on the win. Awesome stuff. Even when Dana spoke about you after the fact, it was just good vibe, good energy, just so you know. And whatever's there, it's something where somebody of that caliber can see and know there's a future. Was there any urgency? Let's circle back to the performance in your corner. Like, okay, we're going the distance. Maybe not what we planned. What were the thoughts? What were you guys?
Yeah. I'm a very urgent person naturally. Like I get bored really easily, so I tend to get excited in fights, and so my corner is always real calm. And so he didn't make me feel like I knew I'm not stupid. I knew that we were 1-1 going into 3, and I knew where I was having the most success and where I wasn't. And Claudia's ground game is really, really good. It's very legitimate. But I knew that if I got on top of her, that I was going to be able to do a lot of damage. And so she shot for that double leg, and I hit that wizard throw and landed on top and made a silly mistake and went straight into jiu-jitsu mode at the end of that round and tried to go to her back and got reversed. I should have just stayed on top and kept punching my weight. I probably would have either finished the fight or been a little bit more exciting. But, we make mistakes and we learn from them, and hopefully we don't make them again.
Of course, it's part of the evolution. Some of the seasoned vets, champions, go to their bread and butter. But what was that moment when they're announcing the scorecards and you're like, oh, here we go?
Again, like I was so at peace all week. Like I knew that I checked every single box. And when you've had a camp where you know that you did physically everything that you're capable of doing, there's a peace. It's like I'm gonna win or I'm gonna lose, but whatever happens, if I show up and perform, it happened. What was supposed to happen happened. And so after the fight, I knew it was going to be a split decision. I had no doubt in my mind. But again, I just had a feeling, like I said earlier, I just had that feeling that it's finally my turn. And so I don't know. I wasn't scared that I wasn't going to get the nod. I kind of knew that I was going to get it. I don't know. It was a weird feeling.
That's a great feeling. If your hand's going to be raised before the fact, that's that confidence. Who's the ideal opponent? What's the ideal arena? What do you want to do, an Apex event, or like, no, give me Madison Square, give me T-Mobile?
I don't like the silence. You know, I was a college athlete, and college sports is very loud. I love the loud arenas. I would love to fight in Texas. I'm a Texan. Like, you cut me open and I bleed little Lone Stars. Like, I would love to fight in Texas. That would be the dream.
I will hope that you get that accomplished too on the bucket list, and good luck on the career, Hailey.
Thank you.